On this episode of Where's the Line, me and Joseph are going to recap the Vanderbilt-Hawaii game in Week 0, and then we are going to break down Week 1, Vanderbilt versus Alabama A&M, and Tennessee, Virginia. You're going to want to stick around for this one. Long podcast. We got gambling picks at the end. Let's get into it. This is episode number 93.
You are now listening to the Where's the Line podcast with Joseph West and Britt Dillard. Enjoy the show.
Another edition
of Where's the Line? Football! Football is here.
It is episode number 93. It is Monday, August 28th.
There's no way that's the intro.
My name is Britt Dillard. That is Joseph West on the other end there, coming through the frequencies today. It's a Monday afternoon. It's football season. Joseph, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I was feeling really good in that intro. The vibe was weird on the intro, but we're going to ride it out nonetheless. Britt, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I got my haircut today, so that is a great day. The sports radio today was popping. It's game week for everybody else around the country that didn't play Saturday. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Starting with our Squirrel White Jersey giveaway.
That's right.
Off the rip. I've got a wheel right here. I'm about to spin that thing. And somebody's going home. Somebody's not. Somebody will receive in their mailbox a Squirrel White jersey.
Very true. Britt, drum roll, please.
Thank you to everybody who entered. I'm spinning it.
Thank y'all.
now.
We appreciate y'all for helping share the pod. Britt, and the winner
is Donald Davis.
Donald! Are you serious right now? I cannot see the real ladies and gentlemen.
I could have shared my screen, I guess. I could have. But yeah, Donald, I got you, my boy.
Donald, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to this pod, and congratulations. You won't be receiving it in the mail. I'm literally going to hand it to you next time I see you. But yes, shout out. Thank y'all seriously for helping us share the podcast. We appreciate you helping get the word out. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter, it is @_WTL pod. On Instagram, you already know. If you ain't following us on Instagram at this point, I don't really know what you're doing, but it's _where's_the_line. Okay, so that's the @. Go follow us, share us, let people know that we exist. And now it's time. All right, after hearing that great advertisement from the Spotify, we back here, and we got a game to break down. Okay, we got a game. Vanderbilt and Hawaii played this weekend. Everyone knows how excited I've been for the season. Britt came with me. We were in Nashville, hour and 45-minute rain delay, or no rain. Not until we really got in the stadium, but really light rain, lightning delay truly. Britt, construction, getting the stadium, honestly, for us wasn't too bad. We stood in line, maybe 5-10 minutes max?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad.
I was very confused trying to find my way around. I'm not familiar with the area.
Yeah, there, even like for me who was familiar, was definitely some tricky parts to it. But went pretty smoothly. I will say, from what people were expecting, I would say it went a lot smoother than what outsiders were saying. They seemed prepared. The Jumbotron looked good. It was suspending off of cranes. The sound system was good. Once again, suspending off of cranes. So I was impressed with them in that aspect. Also in the stadium, I thought the construction gave a really cool vibe. I really enjoyed it. Maybe it's just because I'm a Vanderbilt fan and I'm excited for the future, but before we got deep into the game, I did want to talk about that aspect. Britt, any comments on the stadium vibe with the construction?
Kind of strange seeing the jumbotron hanging from a crane. It was pretty. I mean, it worked.
It was crazy.
Did you ever see the video of it swinging around in the?
Before we got in, I
Yeah.
seen it. That was crazy.
Yeah, I think the visitors' locker room is literally just like a tent out there.
It is a tent for now.
But let's not fault Vandy too much. I mean, it is a big deal that they even have it ready to play a game in. Honestly,
I heard Jared Stillman say it best, and anyone who knows me knows I don't like Jared Stillman, but I did want to say this on the podcast. Jared Stillman said this on 102.5 The Game. He said, making fun of Vanderbilt is like making fun of that one fat kid that is really big, and he goes and sits down and he orders broccoli and grilled chicken, and you make fun of him for ordering broccoli and grilled chicken. Just be like, man, you're fat. Why are you ordering grilled chicken for? Just be fat, man. Just order something somebody fat would order. And it's like, man, Vanderbilt's trying to invest, so to crap on them when they're actually trying to do better is insane. So I did just want to throw that out there. Thank you, Jared Stillman. Apparently, I have to like you all of a sudden because you have a brain. So thank you. Shout out Jared Stillman. Okay, let's get right into it. The game, I've avoided it long enough. Vanderbilt won 35-28. Quite different from my prediction.
I was pretty close.
Remember. What was your prediction, Britt? I don't remember.
My prediction was 31-14. So not that close.
Britt really was 31-14. Yeah, there's
really
a lot to get into. There's a lot to get into in this game. Let's just start. So first things first, Hawaii starts out with the ball. They punt. They have a 0-yard punt. That needed to be said because that is very impressive. That's more impressive than them getting it down on the 1. The punt literally went 0 yards. Vanderbilt gets the ball. We run in a 21-yard touchdown. It's 7-0 with 11:30 to go in the first. Hawaii does bounce back though. Mr. Brennan Schrager drives down the field. Hawaii scores their first touchdown with 7:19 to go, and they take the lead. Vanderbilt did go for 2 in kind of an odd situation to start the game. Anyways, they were up 7-6. Doesn't matter. And then Vanderbilt quickly gets the ball back. I'm sorry. We don't even get the ball back. Hawaii kicks off. McGowan, 97.5 yards to the house. Down the left sideline, dude was flying, was running 21.6 miles per hour. We go for 2, make it 14-7. We score again. First play of the second quarter. We score, make it 21-7. And then on a 4th and 4, this is very important. I'm going to go back to this point in just a minute when we get done with all of the scores. 4th and 4 at Vanderbilt's 45. Brennan Schrager drops back to pass, throws an absolute dart to the end zone. Touchdown Hawaii. It makes it 21-14. Vanderbilt with 9:38 to go in the third. This is obviously after halftime. We score, make it 28-14. And then we score again to start the fourth quarter. On the first play of the fourth quarter, we score and make it 35-14. This is where things, I think, got a little crazy. Hawaii drove down with 11:25 to go, scores a touchdown. With 4:54 to go, they score another touchdown, and all of a sudden it's a 1-point game. Vanderbilt fumbles the onside. Vanderbilt had fumbled the onside. We was really trying to give it to them late. There's a lot of ways you can go with this. I just wanted everyone to see how the scoring went, and talk about this in many different ways. First of all, I was never nervous that Vanderbilt was going to lose this game. Like, never. I know some Vanderbilt fans may agree, but there was never a moment in my head where I thought we might lose this game, ever. Even in the fourth quarter when they scored back-to-back, we were in control of the game. I was never nervous. Not one time was I nervous. I do want to say that. And I kept asking everybody around me. Britt was not there. Britt left early, but Britt can at least attest to this earlier in the game. I kept poking people on the shoulder. Ask me right now if I'm nervous. I ain't nervous. I did it in the fourth quarter with 5 to go. I said, ask me right now if I'm nervous. I ain't nervous.
I think that was more of a coping mechanism than it was you actually not being nervous.
I just wanted it to be known I wasn't nervous.
Because if I can say something real quick.
Of course. This is a co-hosted podcast.
Vanderbilt should have lost this game. I think if Hawaii didn't waste their timeouts within the first 10 minutes of the second half, I think they would have won the game.
They might have, but I still doubt it. Even if this game goes into overtime, I still like Vanderbilt in the game. Like, there's just there's not enough. I don't know. For some reason, I never felt like we were going to lose. Like I said, even after we turned it over on downs late and Hawaii got the ball and everyone was kind of holding their breath, I was like, they're not driving down the score. I don't know why I thought that. I just did. That's just my feeling. Now, I did walk down the stairs and kind of like, what the hell is going on? And just start screaming a little bit. But I was never like, we might lose. There's several things you can talk on to start, really, if you watch this game. I'm gonna start with offense. AJ Swan had a solid game. I don't know if I would say great. He had a solid game. Had a few bad passes here and there, especially two that honestly should have been picked off. He probably should have had 2 interceptions, but we don't count almost interceptions, so not gonna count those. 19 for 30 is what he went. 258 with 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times. I mean, Swan played well. Swan didn't always get through his progressions. I felt like sometimes he may have rushed to his first read. But if you watch the game and you saw Vanderbilt's offensive line, I think it's really hard to blame AJ Swan for going to his first read a lot of the time. Like I said, poor dude was getting hammered at 19 years old. For the receiving end of things, you had Will Shepherd, 6 receptions, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jaden McGowan, 6 receptions, 72 yards. And then London Humphreys, 1 reception, 32 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, like I said, from the offense, if I'm reading those out, you're thinking they had a pretty good day. The offensive line, to me, is what needs to be the main talking point. I mean, I go back 2 episodes, I'm raving about Vanderbilt's offensive line. Everyone returned. A offensive line who got better throughout the year last year, who, if you take away the first 4 games, I think it is, of the season, you look at Vanderbilt's in that 7 to 8 range in the SEC. I think we finished 10. If you take out the first 3 or 4 games, I think you enter 7. I want to say that could be incorrect. I'll have to double check. But my point being that that's just about as good as you get at Vanderbilt as far as offensive line goes. If you're in that 6 to 8 range, that good mid half of the SEC, you're doing a really good job on Vanderbilt's offensive line. They really struggled. I don't know what the hell was going on with the offensive line, but goodness, do they need to figure it out. If Vanderbilt can figure out the offensive line, there's no worries. All the worries about this game go away to me. I'm not worried about the secondary. I'm not worried about how many points the other team might score, because I think we score at will if you just fix the offense, just block for longer than 2 seconds. Freaking block. Our wide receivers were getting open. There's 2 plays that Vanderbilt fans have put all over Twitter about. Some people say AJ Swan missing the guy. Dude, he had to rush. That's just how it was. A dude came 3 off the edge. He had to rush. Yes, he had McGowan wide open over the middle, but I don't really care. The offensive line was atrocious. That's my opening statement, is just offensive line. Britt, I'm going to let Britt speak if he'd like.
Thank you. I don't really have a breakdown of the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Just kind of a broad overview of a lot of stuff that I saw. You said Swan could have thrown 2 interceptions. I think he could have thrown 2. His first 2 passes he threw were both pretty bad. I understand it. I'm sorry, my house sounds like O Block. Somebody's shooting an AK-47 outside. Can you hear that?
No, I can't. You're good.
Holy crap, it sounds like a high school. Anyways,
Okay.
you said at one moment that AJ Swan in the game, you said that he had the arm talent. I agree. I think he does have the arm talent. I just think that his timing on things is off. The most glaring part of the game to me, I think you would say the secondary. I think the offensive and defensive line was easily the biggest surprise, I guess, to me. When you've got an SEC.
Is the defensive line in a good way? Because Vanderbilt,
no, in a terrible way.
The defensive line should be in a good way, because no matter what people say, watch the clip. Vanderbilt got pressure in this football game, and if you think they didn't, you didn't watch.
Can I talk?
No, you can't, because you were just about to say something ignorant like other people on Twitter.
I was at the game. I watched the game.
I don't know if you did.
I will say, if you would have let me finish my statement, I would say that Vanderbilt only allowed 40 rushing yards, which is a positive. I just thought that the quarterback had time for most of the game, especially in the first half. He had a ton of time. He threw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. The secondary got shredded, but
Secondary's not good.
that's stuff that can be worked on to a degree. The thing that is more, and I'm not here to crap all over Vanderbilt. That's not why I'm here. The thing that would be more concerning to me are the fine details. There were 2 punts. Vanderbilt punted twice, and Vanderbilt's punter MVP,
Best player on the team, dog.
dude.
I said it at the game.
But he had 2 punts that hit inside the 20 and should have easily been downed inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, hit it. Literally, one of them died, hit in, I think, at the 12 and died at the 1, and we lost it.
And
went to the end zone.
it was pitiful. Special teams was bad. The onside kick that Hawaii choked away, that guy stepped out of bounds and then ran back in and grabbed the ball. Like that can't be happening. That just can't be happening. Hawaii had 2 empty trips to the red zone. Penalties screwed them up, but I mean Vanderbilt, they held them.
They got
And Hawaii wasted their timeouts. I just think 50-50 Hawaii wins this game. I think 50-50.
See, I think if you run this game back 7 out of 10 times, we blow them out. Blow them out of the water 7 out of 10 times. I went back and forth, just so everyone knows my train of thought here. I went back and forth. When I left the stadium, I had 2 Tennessee fans with me. They can both attest to this. When we left the stadium, I said that was the most embarrassed I'd been since ETSU. I would like to revoke that statement. I don't think that's the case. Much easier to learn from a win than a loss. This doesn't change anything. Whether you win 63-10 or whether you win 31-30, this game's a win. Okay, you've got 5 more wins to go bowling, which is the goal. All right. I hate to be the win is a win guy, but it's the play here. It is the play, whether you like to admit it or not. The play is a win is a win right now.
I mean, you can say win is a win if you want to, but you're playing Hawaii, bro. And there was like 10,000 Vanderbilt fans there. I understand it was raining. It's hard to judge that. But
don't get me wrong. Also, total attendance was announced at 21,800. I want that there was not 21,000 people there. I would say there was 18,000-ish there. That would be me, like I said, just guessing from what I've known in the stadium. But that's not the point. We will talk about the fans, but not yet. Yeah, listen, Schrager, by the way, I disagree with Britt wholeheartedly. The interior defensive line in the first half, I rewatched the game this morning before I went into work. We got a lot of pressure in the first half, especially from the interior defensive line. Schrager was rolling out of the pocket. He threw 2 passes across his body like Patrick freaking Mahomes. Okay, like when I'm not trying to say Hawaii's good, I've been the #1 hater throughout time. Britt Dillard, correct me if I'm wrong. When UT played App State, I was the #1 human on Twitter. All UT fans were like, man, App State's a great team. App State's a great team. I think I could be wrong on this. 2 weeks later, they played Ohio. I want to say it was in 2016. They beat them 2020, 2019, maybe something right in there. And once again, UT fans were, this was a great team. This was a great team. Listen, Hawaii's not a great team, but Schrager played unbelievable. He made throws that when Vanderbilt plays Brady Cook, when Vanderbilt plays Graham Mertz, when Vanderbilt plays Peyton Thorne, they will not make those throws. They might make 1 or 2 of them. They will not make as many as Schrager did. He played amazing. When I rewatched, I didn't respect him last night when I watched the game. I was like, man, our team sucks. I was just getting pissed. I was like, our team sucks. But that 4th and 4 pass, dude threw it 56 yards back shoulder in the air to the end zone with coverage. Decent. He was beat by about a step, so I'm not going to say good. Decent coverage. He had to throw it on the money, and it was a perfect throw. I'm telling you right now, I have complete faith 5 or 6 SEC quarterbacks do not do that when we play.
So you think that Hawaii will have better quarterback play than 5 out of the 8 SEC teams you play? Is that what you just said?
Maybe not necessarily better quarterback play throughout the year, but in that game, yes. In that game, yes. Schrager was so good. Like when I rewatched the game, I was like, dude, he threw a couple of these balls on the money. Now he threw a lot of his passes to wide open guys. Like let's not sugarcoat this. A lot of these passes was also to wide open guys. So, but the plays that kept them in the game, that kept it from just being a blowout like it was last year, like when they just stomped on the momentum that Vanderbilt had, was Schrager just going nuts. Like one time he avoided Nate Clifton, grabbed his right arm, protects the ball, rolls out to the right side, and hits a dude a big tight end that weighed like 300 pounds sprinting towards the sideline. Like, don't get me wrong, he was wide open, but it still took a hell of a play for somebody to roll out of the pocket like that and make the throw. Now, SEC quarterbacks do make that throw 100%. But whether they escape the pocket like that, I don't know. I just wanted to come on here and give my props to Schrager. I did. That's the first thing I wanted to do. Now, talked about the offensive line. Defensive line was not all great. The interior got pressure. On the outside, you had Issa, who is 6'8", 340 pounds. I've been talking about him all offseason. Dude, he's not meant to be on the edge. I get it. He's all we have. But he's getting no pressure. He got no more than 2 or 3 yards in the backfield on every snap. I went back and watched the game. On the other side, you have Aninis DeCosmo, who also wasn't getting that good of pressure. Miles Capers, who I think is our best pass rusher, only played 5 snaps all night. I had to go back and look at the numbers. He played 5 snaps. I don't understand why he only played 5 snaps. Our best boundary corner, Trudell Berry, didn't see the field. I don't know. I seen a Vanderbilt fan say this, and I do want to say it. I'm not saying it. But he said, I've convinced myself that Vanderbilt went so vanilla in this game. They didn't play much of the young guys. They didn't see a lot of snaps because they thought we could just beat them no matter what. And if that's you are hyper delusional if you think that, but at the same time, I might think that. So I don't really know yet.
Okay. Joseph, bringing the heat, passionate. Hold on, we'll cut right here. Joseph's fixing his mic. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Joseph, for me, something that stuck out.
Hey, Britt, for the record, could you hear a lot of what I was saying? Was it just some static and some buzz, but you could hear it still?
Yeah, I could hear you. I just know that some people may be annoyed by that. It wasn't terrible, but
okay,
we should address it.
Sorry, team.
I don't know if Vanderbilt, as an athletic department, has done a very good job prioritizing practicing football. I think that they have focused too much on what other people think of construction, too much on image as far as extending Clark Lee. And I just don't think I saw improvement. I honestly would like to retract my 6-6 prediction. I'm not going to. I don't think I can do that. I think that's against the law here. But I wish I could.
I was actually going to get to retracting predictions. I'm going to let you, as I am. I'm going to retract my prediction as well. Before I do, though, I would like to say this: an hour and 45-minute rain delay. Vanderbilt openers usually get delayed by rain, and most of the time when they do get delayed, they don't work out very good for Vanderbilt. Temple, 2014, we got absolutely stomped by Temple. ETSU, ring a bell. And now Hawaii. When we get delayed by rain, I don't know what it is. And they can say all they want to. Clark, I don't think Clark Lee overlooked Hawaii. I don't. I do think some.
I don't think that.
I do think some of the players did. Like after what Will Shepherd and Skinner and those guys did to him last year, can you blame them? They had their way last year. They beat them 63-10. The defense had their way. The defense gave up a touchdown on the opening possession and then destroyed them the rest of the night. I can't blame them for, as players, as young men. I would, like, if I was lining down against somebody I thought I was going to beat every snap, I probably would take the game light too. So I say that to say, listen, it's one game. I'm not putting all my faith in all that I've heard about Vanderbilt in this one game. There has been days of fall camp where I've heard great things. I even was tweeting at Vanderbilt's 247 guy this morning and yesterday, was messaging him. Hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? You said this, this, and this during fall camp. Why didn't we see it? Like, were you bolstering the numbers in fall camp, or did you really see this? And the main thing that I'll talk about is the offensive line. He said, listen, the offensive line in the run game, he said it all fall camp. He thought we would struggle to run the ball. But he said that the pass block was terrible in the game, and it was never like that in fall camp. So I don't know, like I said, what happened with the O-line, but you got to find a way to fix it. You got to find a way to patch it up. If it start 2 young guys, put the young guys in. Our graduate senior, Julian Hernandez at center, he sucked. I love your family, Mr. Hernandez. I do. You have a very sweet family, and you're a great human.
But you're
you
garbage at
sucked.
football.
You sucked against Hawaii at football. And guess what? Our left guard, also, who I would call our best offensive lineman, watched him get wrecked in the rewatch. When I watched the game this morning, I watched him get absolutely tossed around. I don't know what they were doing. But I watched them dominate Florida's defensive line last year. So I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I don't know what happened on the offensive line. I'm so confused right now when it comes to that. Secondary is this. Next game against Alabama and A&M, I don't give a shit who you run out. But when I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and we're 2-0 taking on the Demon Deacons, I better see the freshmen playing football on the defensive side, or I will be screaming at Clark Lee to play the young guys. Because I don't care if they get beat. But if I have to watch B.J. Anderson get beat one more time deep, I'm going to kill myself. I'm so tired of watching 26 get beat time after time after time. He gets beat. It's so frustrating, man. It's so frustrating. This game should have been a blowout. This was not a good performance by Vanderbilt, but all hope is not lost. It's simple. Get Darren Agu back. Get Davis back. Get some other guys back on defense. Get Prince Colley back. Okay, get these guys healthy. Ramp up the pass rush. Help out your secondary. Patch the offensive line. Shoot, put 2 running backs in to help chip block if you have to. I don't care. Send Shepard, Skinner, and McGowan out on routes. One of them will be open. They're that talented. That's all you have to do, coaching staff. Turn on Where's the Line right now. I'm giving you the keys to the game, and I'm not even to my preview yet. I'm still on the breakdown. Okay? Vanderbilt won this game 35-28. Thank God for Jay and McGowan taking a kickoff back, and thank God that A.J. Swan hit Will Shepard for 2 tutties. And Shepard almost fumbled. As much as I love him, he almost fumbled the game away on an onside kick, literally, because it hit him right in his chest, and he bobbled it and let it go, just looked at it, waved at it. Don't know what he was doing. Love the guy, but don't know what he was doing. I can point to 3 or 4 other things. Don't know what they were doing either. Nick Howell. Let me come after him real quick, too, while I'm renting. Some of the blitzes we were sending are terrible. You're sending blitzes from the backside. We don't have the coverage for that. Send them through the damn gap. I'm tired of seeing backside blitzes. They're not getting home. Stop sending them, Nick. Clark's got to fire his ass. Take over the defense. And Dan Jackson, he's supposed to be our secondary coach. I don't even know what he's doing. Maybe it's that we have no talent. Maybe in the secondary it's that we have no talent. And that's what I would like to believe. The talent is bad in the secondary. Just speed. You can tell speed alone is a huge factor. But there's this thing called scheme you can do to make up for some lack of speed. Not all, but some. I rest my case on Nick Howell on the defense.
I think Clark Lee lacks some testicular fortitude, to be quite honest with you. I think both of his coordinators are kind of not smart.
You know, I think that Clark is a very strategic, build a culture type of guy. I mean, we know that. We know that's what he wants to do. He's going to do it a little bit differently than college football today. And like I said, I'm fine with that as long as you see progress every year. I'm fine with him doing it as, calling us a developmental program. But he's big about keeping the same staff, keeping the same guys, keeping the same system, and that's cool. I'm fine with that. I think that's great. But if it's just flat out not working, see ya. We got no time to wait around. Okay, we got no time. There's no time for that. SEC's expanding. It's the football's only going to get harder. There's no time to wait around for Nick Howell and Joey Lynch to become great coordinators. We ain't got no time for that.
No.
So Joey Lynch, I didn't think he called a bad game. I didn't think I ever sat in the stands and was like, what play call was that? No, because all I seen was the O-line getting blown up, so I couldn't tell if he sucked or was good. That's not on him. As the offensive coordinator, that's not his fault that the O-line can't block. So O-line bounce back. Here's my finals, and then I'm gonna let Britt say his finals about this game because I can't keep ranting. Finals about this game is patch up the offensive line. That I think is doable. I'm just pissed about the way they performed this week. I do think it's doable though. Start the young guys. I think they're progressive enough to just have a good season. 2, blitz packages or getting the defensive line healthy, whichever it is. Help out the secondary as much as you possibly can. You got to figure that out. And 3, let AJ Swan cook. It's that simple. Dude threw some great passes. He threw on the money balls, threw a great ball to McGowan to Humphreys, hit Shepard twice. Like I said, hit McGowan in the middle of the field one time. That was a really tight throw. He's got the talent, you can tell. But I mean, dude, he can't do anything when he's, first of all, 19, and second of all, he's getting killed in 3 seconds every play. So, Hawaii Vanderbilt, good dub Vanderbilt, not good. A dub Vanderbilt, you're 1-0, but you're going to have to get better if you want to get to my 7-5 prediction. But for now, I think we could go 6-6. I think I had us beaten 3 out of Missouri, Kentucky, Florida, Auburn. I think you get 2 of them now, if this is the football you're going to play.
I think if this is the football Vanderbilt's going to play, I'm thinking like 4 wins. If they play, this team's not going to win an SEC game if they play like they did in week 0.
I think I would call Brandon Traeger a better quarterback than Graham Mertz and Peyton Thorne. I think you saw a better quarterback last night than you'll see from Florida or Auburn all year.
Maybe so, but in the SEC, you're going to see a lot better defensive and offensive lines, running backs, receivers.
True. They're gonna have more weapons for sure, but I'm not worried about Vanderbilt's front 7 in the long run on defense. Obviously, his secondary is something to side eye.
Yeah, but good news is it's week 1. You've got 3 more very manageable games coming up to work on stuff before you've really got to lay it all out there. So I don't want to be too hard on Vanderbilt. I know it was raining for most of the first half. I know it was delayed. It's the opener. You're still trying to figure stuff out. So I don't want to be too hard on them, but it was as you said, it was embarrassing.
It was not pretty. It was a win. Also, the special teams, Hayball, definitely have to do a better job, just because Britt touched on that and I didn't. Have to do a better job about downing his punts. 2 great punts from him. I think that's all. The ball was wet. It was the first game. There was some sloppiness. I think some of that you can expect. Also, everybody else gets an extra week of practice. So you get an extra few days when you play week 0, but not much. You get literally 4 extra days, and you can't even go full pads. You have to go shells. So you do get a week taken of practice away. We'll see. I think you see a much better performance in week 1 here, but we're fixing to get into that. Switching mindsets, we're going to talk about UT first, so you can get away from Vanderbilt for a second. Also, we're doing this all in one pod. We probably should have started with this, but we're going to do the breakdown, the preview for week 1 all in one this week. We weren't going to be able to get together again later on in the week, so going to do it all in one here. So starting Tennessee and Virginia, they'll play it at Nissan Stadium. It's a noon kickoff, correct? Noon?
11 a.m. local time.
11 a.m.
Yeah, we're going to get to see Joe Milton throw the ball around a little bit. Obviously, the talking point of the team all off season and leading up to the first game here. Tennessee's currently at -28 last time I checked a few hours ago on DraftKings. Pretty good line. Virginia's a team that doesn't have much expectations going into the year. Most people are picking them to finish last in the ACC, but nevertheless, you're playing a Division I FBS football team, a team that is going to be emotionally motivated after they lost some of their players last season and had to call the season off, which is obviously terrible. But mid-state game, early game, we're going to get started early. I'm excited. I'll be there. I'm ready to go. But Tennessee released their depth chart today, and I don't know if every team does this, but Tennessee's depth chart it doesn't tell you who starts. It has the starter and the backup in alphabetical order, and it says this person or this person. But I just wanted to touch on it really quick and just show you how experienced this team is. And I'm just going to read who I think is going to start. Redshirt senior, junior, senior, redshirt senior, sophomore, junior, senior, redshirt senior. That was offense. Defense, senior, redshirt senior. Every starter on defense projected is a senior, a redshirt senior. There's some redshirt juniors in there. Omar Norman Lott is a junior. He may start on the defensive line. But this is a team that has a lot of experience and a lot of experience in the SEC, which it was the same way last year. And you're thinking, well, we lose all these guys, we're going to suck next year. But Tennessee is finally in a place that they have depth. And that's especially important, especially. I don't want to say especially like some people do. It's especially important on the defensive side of the ball and in the secondary to just have depth. It's just something that we are not accustomed to the last few years. But I'm ready to go. My main concern for the season, and most Tennessee fans, and I mean everybody has something to say about Tennessee. The main thing that people are going to say is Joe Milton's accuracy. Going into the 2021 season, when Joe Milton was named the starter, Josh Heupel's first year, Joe Milton came in June, early June, so he had, let's say, 3 months to learn the offense. And I mean, we saw Joe. He didn't look very good. I'm not as concerned about accuracy. I don't think accuracy is going to be an issue this year, just with how much time he's been in the program. I would be more concerned about his pocket presence. Tennessee's offensive line last year looked really good, but I think a lot of that is because Hendon Hooker was so good in the pocket. He could move around. He could move up in the pocket. He could scramble. He could do all these things. Go watch Joe Milton in the Orange Bowl and see how much moving around in the pocket he does. He doesn't. He stands there and holds the ball. That's my main concern for the year.
And slings it.
Yeah, I mean, that's my concern, especially when you look at the offensive line. We don't know if Cooper Mays is back starting center. We don't know if he's going to play. May see Ollie Lane slide in there. We've got a transfer starting at left tackle. There's some question marks. We're going to have a new guard transfer from Texas. It appears to be starting. There's a lot of things that come into play that make me concerned about Joe Milton in the pocket. But yeah, that's just kind of my beginners. Those are just my first thoughts about the game.
Yeah, I will say I have Tennessee's depth chart saved. A lot of Vanderbilt fans are like, I'm about to throw up. I see a lot of ors. The reason for that, if you've seen that today and was kind of confused, that was Derek Mason's thing. There was always 1,000 ors on the depth chart. It was like, or this guy, or that guy. I always kind of hated it. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but just if you've seen anybody put like or season, we used to say that all the time when Mason was here. Yeah, Britt touched on what I was going to touch on. UT loses all 22 guys. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, or I guess I'm trying to gain it back after the weekend. So if my voice cuts out or goes out, I apologize. But all 22 guys from UT are redshirt seniors or seniors. So you're going to lose all 22 of them more than likely after the season. So, I mean, this Tennessee team, like Britt said, is deep. It's experienced. It's what you want. Their defense, wasn't very good last year, but still they have SEC experience. I think that goes a long way. The only person on this whole entire depth chart who sucks is Gabe Judy-Lawley. Dude is garbage. He was laughing in an interview the other day about Vanderbilt. I hope he's laughing about his own coverage. Dude is garbage. So couldn't start at Vanderbilt, and our secondary sucks. So, yeah, Gabe Judy-Lawley, good riddance, and I hope you get burned every play, and UT's still going to win, but you individually, you suck, and I had to throw that in there.
I just want to interject. I heard today that Judy-Lawley had one of the best fall camps of any defensive back. I heard that he's a borderline starter.
And I do see, by the way, I noticed on the depth chart today it said "or" by his name. If Gabe Judy-Lawley does start, I don't give a crap how good he looked in camp. UT fans will hate him by the end of the season. Dude sucks. So I'm here to do two things: not crap on UT, personally crap on Gabe Judy-Lawley as a human and a football player. So there's what I'm here to do.
Seems like you're kind of angry.
Seems like I'm a hater. I am hating.
Okay, moving on. For Tennessee, what I want to see, I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna give my keys to the game.
Oh, right into the keys.
I'm gonna give my keys to the game. Number 1, run the ball. Tennessee ran the ball more than anybody in the SEC last year. Contrary to what Joseph believes and what many other people believe, Tennessee runs the ball as much as anybody in the country. Josh Heupel loves to run the rock. You're going to have a new starting running back this year. Jalen Wright is going to be running back 1. Sorry, Rizzo is barking behind me.
No worries.
I want to establish confidence for Mr. Wright. He's seen a lot of play in the SEC his last 2 years. That's my 1 key. 2 key. I want to see progression in the secondary. They say they're going to rotate a lot this year. That's kind of obvious in the secondary, but I want to see obvious improvement there, obviously. I'm sorry, Rizzo is going crazy.
Obviously.
Number 3, I want to see Nico. I want to see Nico start in the second half. That's self-explanatory. I'm going to go let my dog outside before she rips through me.
Absolutely kill somebody. For the record, I thought that Britt's stat was incorrect about Tennessee running the ball more than anyone in the SEC. It was incorrect. Arkansas did run 605 attempts last year, so they were not. And Ole Miss 614, so they were not number 1.
Hey, buddy, I don't need you to come. I'm back, okay?
I got the production team.
I don't need you. Well, actually,
I have the production team.
I'm a Vanderbilt fan. I'm a Vanderbilt fan, and actually, there was a few that were a little bit more. I don't need you to come on here and say that crap, dude.
This man was wilding. He was wilding with wrong stats. We weren't going to allow it. I wasn't talking crap
as much as anyone in the SEC.
Okay, they were close. For the record, on the attempts, I said Ole Miss at 614, Arkansas at 605, Tennessee at 523. So just a little under 100 from Ole Miss, and then a little under 75-ish to Arkansas there. My point still being that UT does run the ball. If I had to give 3 keys to the game, my key number 1 would be let Joe Milton get comfortable. He had a good ending to last season against a really bad secondary in Vanderbilt, and then a better but not so great secondary in Clemson. Virginia is not that stacked. They lost a lot of players last year, had some tragedies happen. So get Joe Milton comfortable, let him continue to succeed as he ended last year. Number 2, the offensive line. Just hope they gel and they play well. I think that's my biggest concern. Britt said his was Joe Milton's pocket awareness, but questionable because of the O-line. I will question that again. O-line, don't have a week 0 like Vanderbilt did. Come out strong, block for Milton, because that's going to matter as the season progresses. Number 3, I don't think you're going to be able to really see this in week 1 against Virginia, but just see what UT secondary looks like. I know Virginia's offense is projected to not be good, so I don't really know what you can take or not take away from it, but just see where the secondary lies and hope for strides of success from last year. So if my keys to the game was good secondary play, Joe Milton getting comfortable, offensive line, continue of the good streak of last year, or at least the reputation. Maybe they didn't play great last year, but the reputation of being good from last year. So that would be my keys for Tennessee. I can't hear you, Britt. I cannot hear you, Mr. Dillard.
I muted my mic when I started to speak. I like your keys a lot better than mine. I was a bit distracted by my puppy here. One thing that I'm really excited about. Hold on. Let me say something first. The defensive statistics for Tennessee last year, and I heard this today. John Reed said this today on the radio. Tennessee is in a different category of defense. I think they should be looked at differently from other defensive units in the country. They're on the field more than anybody. They just are. So if when you look at stats like yards per game, points per game, I don't think that's a fair assessment of Tennessee's defense last year. Because in 10 out of 13 games, including the bowl game, I thought Tennessee's defense was pretty good. Now, there's obviously glaring issues in the Georgia game, South Carolina game, and Alabama game. But I had a little bit of Buck Rising going there. But I think it would be better to look at efficiency. Tennessee was top 40 in defensive efficiency last year. I think that's more fitting. I think you should look at points per possession, points per drive. I think those may be better to look at, points per play, whatever. But moving on past that, I'm very excited to see Tennessee's front seven this year. You lost some key players last year in Byron Young and Jeremy Banks, two kind of cornerstones there. But Tennessee has a lot of young talent coming in the front seven. You've got Arian Carter, who could be a starter by the end of the year. You got Keenan Peely, not a young guy, but a transfer coming in, a new face. You got Joshua Josephs, a guy that you saw last year. You got James Pierce. You saw him a little bit last year. You got David Hobbs, 5-star defensive lineman that we picked up last year. I want to see those guys get in. It's good to see reps for young players that are on the defensive line and at linebacker that aren't used to the physicality of a college football game. So there's a lot to look forward to, a lot to see that I want to see, but the main thing is you got to start hot. You've got to win the game before you can see these players come in.
Yeah. Also, touching on Britt's point about looking at defenses, I always really like to look at attempts. And for the record, last year I went ahead and pulled up the numbers once again. Vanderbilt guy, Britt, go ahead and say it. Pulling up the numbers here. Tennessee's defense had 476 total attempt passes thrown on them last year. And that was for a 63.7% completion percentage and 3,444 passing yards given up. Looking at the teams around them, that is a lot of yards given up, and that means their secondary sucked. But looking at the teams around them, you see right below them, Vanderbilt, not even line, it's right below them. They only had 399 attempts, so you're looking at 77 less throws. Right below them, 400. Oh shoot, Ohio actually had more passing attempts on them than UT. That's not a good example. Ohio had 481 for the record, just 5 more. But Houston had 448. Coastal Carolina right above UT at 364. Scrolling up till I see a team I know. Wake Forest had 418 passing attempts. So looking at these teams, just what the point I was trying to get across is a lot of teams gave up a little bit less yards than Tennessee, but saw 50 less passes, 62 less passes, 46 less passes. In there, they gave up 3,277, 2,274, 2,263 compared to 3,444. And like I said, the passing attempts are different by 50 to 60 to 70.
Did you know that you're my co-host and that I'm your co-host?
No.
And you don't have to make me look stupid.
I didn't make you look stupid. I was giving you props for saying that their defense should be looked at in a different light. This was me saying, okay. Yes, I agree.
Turn it
around. Yeah. Okay. No, I am right now. I'm saying that Tennessee gave up a little under.
That's you putting it in reverse.
A little under 200 less yards than the 5 or 6 teams stats I just laid out, but they faced 76, 84 being the most passes from the team. So they saw 84 more passes than Arkansas, who only gave up 200 less yards than them through the air. But Tennessee's defense saw 84 more passes. So, I would argue that their passing defense was better than Arkansas's, which was my point of Britt saying they do need to be looked at in a different light. Always look at attempts. You can look at, I think points per game is always big, but like Britt said, when you're scoring in 2 minutes, when you're scoring in 36 seconds, I mean, shoot, yeah, your defense is going to see a lot. So it's unfair to always judge based purely off the numbers. Make sure you look into them. I agree with Britt there. Britt, score prediction: Tennessee, Virginia at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, 11 a.m. kickoff. Let me go. I'm going to go ahead and go first. I'm going to say UT 63, Virginia 7. I'm big on the week 0 and week 1 predictions in case y'all can't tell.
Yeah. I think you said 73-7 against
72-7. 72-7 against Hawaii.
Yeah,
So
72.
72-7. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I don't really have a score prediction. I don't know why I failed to do that. I think Tennessee will cover the 28 points pretty easily. I also think that there's a sort of vendetta against Tony Elliott, Virginia's head coach. I don't think Danny White likes him very much for speaking on his name. So I don't know. I'd expect Tennessee to come out and score somewhere between 56 and, like you said, 63 points. I think that would be ideal. I think most of those points come from the second half with the young guys. I think Tennessee could get out to a 28-point lead in the first half and then see the young guys come in and just go off. Honestly, because Heupel's got the mindset that, like, hey, I'm not running up the score. I'm letting my young guys get experience. It's your job to stop us.
Right.
Like, it's not personal. Just you need to stop us. So I could see if I had to put a number out there, I'd say 56-21. Somewhere around there.
I like that.
I'm going to document that here. Do you have gambling picks?
I do have gambling picks. Can we talk about Vanderbilt and A&M first?
Yes.
Okay. Before I get into gambling, this is very important because this is how I'm going to rebound. Like I said, I've went back and forth after week 1. I'm not going to let that ruin all my confidence. I think Vanderbilt does need to play better moving forward. But just to get into this game, Vanderbilt has the size against Alabama A&M. They're HBCU. I think we know that. Apparently, size doesn't mean everything. We had the size on Hawaii. That was one of my key points, and we still didn't look great on either side of the ball. So we do have the size, though. Hopefully, it means something this week. Point number 2 I would use, Vanderbilt will have the speed. Use it. Use guys like McGowan. Use guys like London Humphreys. You're going to be able to outspeed them. Listen, at the end of the day, it's a HBCU, and you're an SEC team. Manhandle them, okay? Enough of this damn breakdown. Enough. There's no more of this breakdown. I want everyone to hear me. Enough of the breakdown. We're going into the keys of the game and the prediction right now because we're in the SEC. They are HBCU. Okay, key number 1. Protect Swan. Holy crap. Protect him. He's the most hope we've had in a quarterback since Cutler. Protect this man and let him get in rhythm and let him cook. That's key number 1. Let Swan cook. Key number 2, find any way you can to patch up the secondary. Start the young guy, send better blitz packages. I don't give a shit. Just figure it out. That's key number 2. Figure it the hell out, Nick Howell. Key number 3, make them pay. Make them pay for coming to Nashville. Make them pay for what people are saying about you after week 1. Make them freaking pay. That is key number 3. Okay? I hope we make them pay. Score prediction, Vanderbilt 52, Alabama A&M 14. We bounce back hard. The doors are 2-0 and the doors roll. That's how I'm feeling. I'm back. I don't know how else to say it, okay? I was down for 24 hours before I convinced myself that this Vanderbilt team is actually way better and we just shit the bed in week 0. So I'm back. The doors roll. We're 2-0. There's my breakdown. Get electric, everybody.
Okay.
Also,
did you?
Also, real quick, Alabama A&M, just on a very serious note, Alabama A&M did have a shooting at their campus last week. Prayers for the families and all of those guys. That is super sad. Kind of similar to Virginia last year. So although I do really want them to make them pay on the football field, on a real serious life matter, prayers to all those families and everyone affected. Britt, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Never mind.
Okay, good. Okay, good. You better get scared. Because if you said something crazy, I was going to come after you. So you better get scared.
What was it? The definition of insanity is like doing the same thing
Same
over
thing
and over again.
over and over and expecting different result. That is not this.
Yes, it is.
That is not this, young buck.
That's exactly what it is.
Trust me, Mr. Britt Dillard. Hey, listen, I'm the first one to say Vanderbilt had a really bad performance, but for me to put all my eggs in a week 1 game after a rain delay and weather and everything else that happened would be crazy of me to just say, oh well, everything that I've heard throughout fall camp is bogus because of this 1 game. I just think that fall camp weighs a little bit more. Now, you still have to ultimately, there's a lot of guys on this team. I think BJ Anderson in particular as a player, without getting too far off topic, who everyone always talks about how great he practices. He practices so well. He can never put it in the game. And there's players like that throughout time that you've heard, whether it's your college football team, someone else's, oh, this guy's going to be a dog, and he's just not. And so maybe Vanderbilt has to figure out who's just some gamers, and that takes time, and you can't figure it out in week 0. So give everybody a chance this week. Let the young guys play, and just see what happens. But Vanderbilt rolls 2-0. That's all there is to it. Vanderbilt rolls.
I like it. I do think Vanderbilt goes 2-0.
You're crazy. You're crazy as a fan here. And I said this earlier on 247 on the message boards. I said, listen, if you're out here saying that Vanderbilt's going to go 4-8, or if they go 5-7, you're happy, you're a damn loser. Get the hell off here. You don't even deserve to subscribe to Vanderbilt football. You're a damn loser. If we go 5-7, I'm not happy. I'm not. I'm here to win games. And there's stepping stones. You can't be unrealistic. But 6-6, 7-5, when I look at the schedule, is not unrealistic. So if you're happy with any less than that, get the hell out of the kitchen because you can't handle the heat. All right, Vanderbilt rolls. I don't know how many times I say it. The doors are rolling this week. You just got beat by bowling school because we rolling this week.
What is the message board called?
Which one? We have a few different ones, kind of like y'all. The main one. Let me see real quick. Pause.
Like Tennessee's is the general's quarters.
Yeah, I know Tennessee. I think Tennessee also has one called the checkerboard. I was looking at the other day.
That's gay. I don't get on that.
The one I'm in right now is Ship Talk. The heading, dragging discussions into deep waters, obviously with our anchor down theme. So that's the one that we're chatting in right now. So There it is, Ship Talk. But yeah, so there we are. My voice just cracked. Let's get into betting. Okay, the locksmith also.
Let's get into bed.
I do want to apologize to a few people. I lost 4 people that I know of $100 or more this weekend. Thank God this didn't go on the record. I came out even on the weekend because I put $100 on Notre Dame in the spread and got a boost on it. So I won $300 on that, but I lost $236 on Vandy. So I came out just over even. I apologize if you listened to my Vanderbilt advice and did not listen to my Notre Dame advice because you lost a lot of money. 3 people, like I said, 3 or 4 that I know individually who put $100 on Vanderbilt spread with the boost and lost it. So I'm sorry to all my people. I'm a man enough to admit that, hey, I did call it a lock, and I'm sorry. I do apologize.
Respectable. So just a reminder, 5 bets on the record. They're all locks. Let's go.
All locks.
Locksmith, let's hear it.
Britt, I'm hitting you up first. I've been talking for a minute. I want to hear my co-host talk. That's a rarity.
All right. So this week, I'm feeling confident. I did good this past weekend. I made money on baseball as well as football. Let's jump right into it. My first bet, Tennessee to cover -28 against Virginia. That's easy. I gave you that a minute ago. Next one, Ohio State -30 points versus Indiana. Ohio State plays in the Big Ten. They don't have very many good teams. Ohio State will be good this year. Give me that. Also, give me Texas minus 35. I said it. 35 points against Rice. If you know me, if you listened to this podcast last year, this is my favorite bet of all time. And it won me dozens of dollars last year. Over under first quarter points. Give me over 12.5 in the Tennessee Virginia game.
Okay.
That is going to happen. I don't care. Okay. And my last one here. Give me Kentucky. Give me Kentucky minus 26.5 against Ball State. Kentucky has a lot to prove this year. Notice 4 bets, big spreads. I want it. I want all of it.
You want all of it, huh?
This year, I'm literally putting my money where my mouth is. My hard-earned money is going on all 5 of these every week.
My money was always on the table last year. Everyone knows me, knows I love a good gamble. So that shouldn't really be questioned from me. If my money's on it, you already know that it is. First things first, Brett, you stole one of my picks. Do I need to change that, or can we bet on the same game? I don't know if we discussed that.
I think that
I need to change it real quick because I can get one.
No, I think that you should go with whatever you picked.
Okay, well, my first game was also Kentucky. I did have Kentucky minus the 20. I got in at 26, Britt. I don't know what you announced it as, but I'll take it as what you announced. Did you say 26.5?
Yes.
I'll take it as that. Kentucky minus 26.5. For my first game. For my second game, I had North Carolina State at UConn. North Carolina State minus 14.5. NC State did lose their quarterback, Devin Leary, but UConn has been absolute garbage. I think NC State rolls in this game. I also took Tennessee minus 28. I think that was a relatively easy line. Me and Britt kind of lining up here, but that is who I took. I also had, and this will be kind of the wild card that I threw in yesterday. I've got Hawaii plus 7.5 against Stanford. I'm either gonna die on this and Hawaii's not actually good, or Hawaii shocks the world and they beat Stanford and the Vanderbilt win by 7 doesn't look near as bad. We'll see. I hope it's that one. So I'm betting with the heart here. Took Hawaii plus 7.5. I also took Georgia Tech here plus 10.5 against Louisville. It's at Georgia Tech. A lot of people are high on Louisville. They had a nice recruiting class. I just don't know about it. Give me Georgia Tech plus the 10.5. That leaves me with one game, correct, Britt?
I got 5.
Sure. Oh, do you have 5?
Yeah.
You have 5? Okay, cool. I made like an 8 leg, so I couldn't remember which ones I said. Which 5 do you have, just to make sure?
NC State minus 14.5, Kentucky minus 26.5, UT minus 28, Hawaii plus 7.5, and Georgia Tech plus 10.5.
Perfect.
Okay.
That is money.
That felt good, and that's exciting.
That did feel good.
I'm excited about that. Little extra nugget. Okay. Something that is heavy on my heart today. I've got a that's crazy.
Okay.
And if I'm stupid, which I am sometimes, tell me. Why on Snapchat do I need to know when somebody's typing? That's crazy. Listen, if you're in a group chat with your brothers, it's got to be on Snapchat because there's all kinds of stuff that gets said in there. I don't need to know when all these idiots are typing. It's blowing my phone up. Very true.
That actually is crazy.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt this great podcast with that.
I mean, listen, there's lots of things. I'll tell you what else is crazy is I was picking up a to-go order from my sister from Demas's, and this lady got mad because the girl at the register shorted her 8 cents. That is absolutely nuts. I understand it's your money, but man, if you're mad about 8 cents in 2023, get the hell over it. 8 cents, I wouldn't bat my eye for less than, I mean, I'm not trying to sound like I'm rich, but I mean, man, even if someone shorted me almost $1, I'm probably not even going to say nothing. Like, I'll probably
Okay.
be like, oh, whatever. I don't even care.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say something crazy. I thought you were gonna say like $5. I
No,
was
no, no.
like,
If someone shorts me or shorted me anything over $1, I would say something.
yes,
Like
yes.
I would be like, hey, my change was supposed to be this. But like literally it was 8 cents.
Mm.
And she was mad. She was like, yeah, the total was 11.82 and you only gave me 12 cents. Or 10 cents, whatever it was. Who cares?
4 cents.
I was like, bro, what? Did she really just say that? I would have put the 4 cents, the 10 cents in my pocket and walked out the damn door. It's more trouble for I have to go get a manager, open up the register for me to get my 8 cents than
Yeah.
it would be for me just to walk out the door and go to work tomorrow morning.
Also, if you're using cash,
I
you're
have a lot
crazy.
of cash right now, so calm
You're
down.
crazy.
Okay. Well, listen, here on Where's the Line, we keep the energy high, we keep the bets good, and the vibes are always vibing. The boys are buzzing. Football's back. Vanderbilt's going for 2-0. UT's going for 1-0. We here. It's been Joseph West, Britt Dillard here on Where's the Line?
Go Vols.
And anchor down.